Is this what it's come to for Dillian Whyte? Is this where we're at? That Dillian Whyte has to go fight a person from another sport because he can't get the fights that he's deserved. This is insane to me. This is crazy. I don't understand why Dillian Whyte would fight Francis Ngannou from UFC. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, you're in a mandatory slot, you're in a number one contender slot. You haven't lost since AJ. Before AJ, you didn't lose at all. And now you go over here, you fight this guy, and I don't know. Like, I read the article. The article says that Eddie Hearn's reaching out to Dana White to figure out what they're going to do. One round this, one round that, in a boxing ring, in a cage, etc. And to me, this is just foolish. Like, this is not no Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor type thing. This is a guy who doesn't have a title. This is a guy whose reputation, whose standing is on the line every time he fights. Now, yes, this might not be a boxing sanctioned match as far as like the WB is concerned and stuff like that. But at the same time, if he loses, if in the rare case he loses, even if it's pure boxing, I can guarantee you the way the WBC has been treating Dillian Whyte, they will drop him. They will drop him fast because he just lost to a non-rated fighter. He will lose his number one spot. I can guarantee you. They'll come up with some type of excuse. I don't even know why Dillian Whyte's entertaining this. I understand that in his past, before boxing, he did kickboxing. But even at that, kickboxing is very different than MMA. Yes, it gives you good fundamentals because you can punch and you can kick. But what happens when you get put on your ass? What happens when you go to the ground? See, this is the thing about it. Can Dillian Whyte beat Ngannou? Yes, he can. But in an octagon, which is probably where it's going to be this time, because Dana's not going to have one of his top guys get beat in a boxing ring again. If Dillian Whyte gets put on his ass, what is he going to do? See, this is the problem with MMA versus boxing. Unless you have a guy like Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, who, I mean, even Dillian Whyte to agree has that knockout power, but I wouldn't even put AJ on there because I don't think you would need a Mike Tyson, a Deontay Wilder, a Lennox Lewis type, one punch, put you to sleep type fighter. Because if you don't have that, here's the issue. Look at boxing. How many times do hard punchers end up in the clinch? All the time. The difference in UFC is if you don't know how to wrestle and you end up in the clinch, the referee is not going to separate y'all. You are going to the ground. And once you get on the ground, if you don't know how to wrestle, then you're going to get pummeled, just like James Toney. Yes, there was Ray Mercer who beat Tim Silva with one punch. But again, you're talking about two men who were way past their primes that were fighting at the time. And two, if you're basing everything on a lucky punch, your chances are slim. That's just the reality. Then on top of it, you got to understand that MMA, fighting in MMA, just like bare knuckle boxing with Polly, and being in a boxing ring is completely different. You have, like, in a MMA fight, your gloves are much smaller, tighter to your knuckles, okay? What does that mean? That means the way that you block, the way that you parry is going to be different. It's not the same. And your holes get a lot bigger. Whereas in boxing, your holes are a lot smaller. You got to be a lot more precise and tighter with your punches because the gloves take up a lot of mass. So therefore, you can play off the glove's size to create opportunities to block punches coming at you. Whenever you get into MMA or even bare knuckles, you don't have the same mass over your fists. So therefore, the openings get a lot wider. And if you're not used to having more openings, then your muscle memory might actually cause you to get hit because a punch that you're trying to parry or a punch that you're trying to block is now sliding through because you're not catching that padding that's on a boxing glove. So there's a lot of difference in the aspect of fighting. I'm not saying in a hand-to-hand combat Ngannou could beat Dillian Whyte. I'm not saying he's as skilled as Dillian Whyte, but what I am telling y'all is if you've never fought with MMA gloves, if you've never fought with bare knuckles, it's a whole different type of fighting than fighting with big boxing gloves on that add mass to your hands. There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. And I just, it's sad to me that this is what it's come to. Again, that Dillian Whyte has to reach out of his sport just to find somebody, just to try to move ahead. I mean, is he about to give up boxing? Is that what it's coming to? Because if he beats Ngannou, then who's next? Like, he's already beat a top UFC guy in UFC. Is he going to go to UFC? I hope not. I mean, there's no real money in there for a boxer. For MMA fighters and guys starting out, yeah, the money's decent, but not compared to boxing. He's going to take a hell of a pay cut. So I don't understand it. I don't get it. It doesn't help Dillian Whyte prepare for Fury, prepare for Wilder, prepare for AJ. It doesn't help him at all because Ngannou's not going to have that type of skill set. And if it's MMA, there's going to be a lot of wrestling involved 9 times out of 10. Because you got to understand, and I can say this, Ray Mercer, who knocked out Tim Silva, who was a UFC champion, also fought Kimbo Slice and got put on his ass and beat with ease, just like what happened to James Toney. And we all know how Kimbo's career went. As much as I like Kimbo, as nice of a dude as he was, not the best of fighters. He could have been great if he would have started earlier in life, but he was, pushing 40 by the time he went pro? So it wouldn't, with no experience, no type of experience. So he did well to be so old and inexperienced, but still wasn't that great. And he beat a boxing legend, heavyweight legend. Maybe not legend, but a very good heavyweight champion. It's just, I don't know. Like, I saw this article. I figured I'd put this up because I just hope this doesn't happen. I don't want to see Dillian Whyte fight Ngannou, win, lose, or draw. It does nothing for his career. It does nothing for his standings unless he is going into MMA. That's the only way it's going to help him if he's transitioning over to UFC because nobody in boxing, it seems, will fight him. Maybe AJ will. I mean, I know AJ gave him an offer. Whyte turned it down due to it not being a lot of money and not a lot of time to train. But it in my opinion, on the WB side, it really looks like Fury doesn't want to fight him. And Deontay Wilder has been not wanting to fight this man. So I don't know. I'm sick. My voice is hurt. I'm not going to keep ranting about this. I just think this is stupid. And if he does get in the octagon, being that it is open, even if it's a 1-for-1, like 1 round boxing, 1 round octagon, or you couldn't really change the whatever they're in, whether it's a boxing ring and they make it kind of like K1 or Pride fighting, whatever it was where they were in a boxing ring. K1's kickboxing, I'm sorry. So Pride fight where they're in a boxing ring, even if they do that, 1 round boxing, 1 round MMA, I don't even know how they're going to do 1 round boxing unless they just leave on the MMA gloves for the entirety of the boxing portion. And then you've got to get that sanctioned. I don't know. I don't even know how it would work, but even if it did work like that, the likelihoods of Dillian Whyte making it past round 2 are low. Like round 1, he comes out there. If he doesn't knock Ngannou out, then what happens in round 2 when Ngannou can get up on him and wrestle him? Because by now he knows I can't stand and punch with this guy. So all I've got to do is last 3 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on how long they set the round of boxing for. All I got to do is just stay away from him, survive the round, and then next round I'm going to put him on his ass, and it's over. Like, I don't even see Dillian Whyte, and I'm not saying it's not possible. The dude can fight, I like him, but I'm just saying, like, every other round that they do in MMA is damn near. I don't know. I don't see him winning. once he gets on his butt. Unless this man's been wrestling his entire life and I don't know about it, unless he's been training in MMA in obscurity and I don't know about it, never seen nothing about it, then yeah, it goes to round two, he's lost. If he can't get him out in round one, it's over in round two. MMA rules kick in, it's done. That's it. All she wrote. Doesn't matter how good he can box. Doesn't matter how good he can kick. Put him on his ass, it's over. He don't know what to do on his ass, it's over. Somebody like a Lomachenko, Terrence Crawford that can wrestle may do well in MMA. But Dillian Whyte, if you don't have wrestling in your background, I would not do it. I would not do it. Like, just look at UFC champions. A lot of their champions come from fucking college wrestling. Like, look at Cormier, look at John Jones. Even whenever Brock Lesnar went in, that dude that just beat Tony Ferguson, there's so many guys who were college wrestlers, and they seem to be the ones that dominate MMA. So, again, bad luck, don't understand it. Thank y'all for listening. Sorry, my voice is messed up. I'm sick, not feeling good. Give the video a thumbs up because, you know, I let my frustrations out while I was sick. Give it a thumbs down if you're like, man, you need to get healthy. Don't even talk while you're sick. Don't do it. Just give it a thumbs down for that. And if you like what you just listened to, go ahead and sub to the channel because that's what helps me out the most. Thank y'all again for watching. Hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. My sub count has jumped up a lot in the last few days. So with that being said, I try my best to message every single one of y'all. If you're new to this channel, if you're new listening to this, you made it to the end, I will respond to you. Whether you agree or disagree with me, I try my best to respond to everybody. I would assume somewhere in the future it's probably going to get impossible for me to respond to everybody, but at least while I'm growing, I appreciate everybody who comes here. So to show my appreciation, I always respond. Thank y'all again.